There is a moment, subtle and quiet, when you realize you are no longer in the same world as everyone else. It does not come with a loud awakening or a dramatic vision. It comes in silence. You are watching television, just background noise, something about a family, a fight over inheritance, a husband leaving, a mother-in-law crying, children caught in the storm. The host pretends to help. And suddenly, you stop. You freeze. Not because of the story, but because of the feeling. It feels like an old VHS tape has been inserted into reality. Like you've been pulled back into 1997. The way they speak, the tone of their voices, the way they react, it all feels rehearsed. Artificial. You are not watching people. You are watching characters in a script that has been playing for decades. And then you begin to notice it elsewhere. In the supermarket, at the checkout, when someone argues over 20 cents. When a parent yells at a child for dropping a banana. When someone genuinely believes that success is about image, and happiness is just the absence of drama. You start to feel it, a quiet dissonance. Not with them, but with reality itself. You are no longer synchronized with the collective code. You cannot react the way they do. You cannot return to the old drama, to the endless cycle of blame, resentment, and suffering. You do not feel superior. No. You simply feel like you are on a different frequency. You walk the same streets, greet the same people, but there is a constant sensation, you are in someone else's play. A play where the actors truly believe this is life. They believe life is about right and wrong. That someone owes them. That there are rules, winners, and losers. But you are beginning to see that life is something entirely different. This is not enlightenment. This is not perfection. This is simply awakening. You are not suddenly free of pain, doubt, or emotion. But you have woken up inside the game. And now, you can no longer believe in the scenery. You begin to see layers. Some live in 3D. Some are in transition. And you are standing between worlds. You are the observer who can no longer play by the old rules. Have you noticed how, in 3D, people begin to look the same? Not in a literal sense, but energetically. The same facial expressions, the same patterns of reaction, as if they were mass-produced from the same mold. Each wears a mask, but the expression is identical: judgment, envy, fear. Their faces resemble characters from a long-running drama, where every villain looks just like the last. You can predict who will get angry, who will feel jealous, who will point the finger. They even mirror each other visually, as if drawn from the same blueprint. And then it hits you: I've seen this person before. Not in this body, not in this place, but with the exact same energy. This is the 3D world of templates. A world where people live by program, where even appearance is shaped not by freedom, but by inner script. The angry one looks angry. The fearful one copies another fearful one. Their psychotype is read through their face, because the entire system is a hologram, distorted into predictability. But this is not their fault. This is a level. A grid placed over consciousness. The 3D matrix does not only program thoughts, it distorts faces, bodies, movements. It creates extras. Background characters. And now, imagine you are not an extra. You are the observer. You are watching from outside. And at some point, you realize, I am not like this anymore. I no longer want to be part of this repeating script. And here, we arrive at the quantum turning point. In quantum physics, it has long been proven, two particles can occupy the same space, yet never interact, if they vibrate at different frequencies. This is exactly what is happening with people. 3D is one frequency. 5D is another. You can live in the same apartment, sit at the same table, but exist in entirely different realities. This is why some see news, suffering, and scandals, while others see signs, meetings, synchronicity, and change. This is not fantasy. This is a reprogramming of perception. You are not escaping the world. You are staying, but on a different layer. And what is 4D? Some believe it is already enlightenment. Others think it is just another level. But 4D is neither the beginning nor the end. It is a bridge. A transitional zone between the noisy marketplace of 3D and the silent temple of 5D. It is when you are no longer like them, but not yet fully yourself. You are beginning to wake up, but your eyes are not yet adjusted to the light. You start to feel the lie, but you still struggle to separate it from your own old patterns. You notice repetitions, anomalies, coincidences. Inside, a quiet distrust of the system grows. A desire to withdraw. A feeling that this world is not yours. You no longer believe in what you once did, but you do not yet fully understand what comes next. This is the challenge of 4D. It is like being in an elevator between floors, where turbulence can begin. You may waver. One day you are rising, the next you are listening to the crowd again. One moment you believe in miracles, the next you are stuck in old pain. This is the zone of purification. And it is necessary. It is here that roles, masks, and external expectations fall away. From a quantum perspective, 4D is when the wave function begins to collapse. You are no longer fixed as a particle. You become a stream of probabilities. And here, for the first time, you realize, I am the one who chooses. I am not a victim. I am the source. But beware, getting stuck in 4D is dangerous. You can become lost in esotericism, chasing knowledge without reaching truth. You can retreat into isolation, without opening your heart. You can begin fighting the system, instead of simply stepping out of it. The transition is not a place to settle. It is a corridor to a new home. Walk through it. Do not build a tent here. 3D and 5D are not geographical locations. They are not levels of wealth or status. They are states of consciousness. Layers of perception. Inner frequencies. They can coexist in the same space, yet be experienced in completely different ways. 3D is a reality built on fear, survival, and struggle. Here, the person identifies with the body, with roles, with debt, with external circumstances. The values of 3D are safety, control, status, approval. Life is seen as a heavy path, one that must be earned, proven, fought for. 5D is consciousness flowing in harmony. Here, there is no struggle, only observation. No need for validation, only a deep sense of connection to all that is. Here, action comes from meaning, love, and awareness, not from fear or pressure. The shift from 3D to 5D does not happen overnight. It is a process of inner transformation. It begins with questions. Why do I live this way? Who am I, if I remove everything that was given to me? What if my reality depends on my choice? As long as a person holds on to old patterns, as long as they believe everyone is the same, that you must work to survive, that love is pain, they remain in 3D. In a dense, linear, heavy version of reality. But when they begin to see signs, feel intuition, recognize repeating patterns, that is the sign of transition. The world begins to change from within. People disappear. New ones appear. Old desires dissolve. A strange silence emerges, and in that silence, everything falls into place. One of the most painful moments of awakening is realizing you no longer speak the same language as those closest to you. You look at the same things, but see entirely different realities. You live side by side, but in separate dimensions. It could be your partner, your mother, your child, or a childhood friend. But inside, you have already shifted. And now, even simple conversations begin to break. The person in 3D sees everything through fear, threat, rules. They judge, accuse, defend. They do not feel energy. They do not notice subtle shifts. And when you share what has changed you, they look at you as if you have lost your mind. You cannot explain it, not because you lack words, but because they are not tuned to this frequency. Just as a radio on 88.0 FM will never receive a signal from 104.5, their receiver is set to another band. You cannot wake someone who is not ready to wake. Their soul is still asleep. And awakening is not logic. It is an inner signal, one that can only be activated from within. Sometimes, separation from others is not conflict. It is the natural result of a quantum leap. You have moved. They have not. And this is not arrogance. This is vibration. Accepting this is part of the path. If you are watching this, it means the signal has reached you. You are already moving. And that means you are not alone. Thank you for your courage, your light, and your quiet rebellion against the illusion. May you step fully into the timeline where you are free, loved, and whole. Where every choice aligns with your deepest truth, may the silence you carry become the new frequency of your life. And may what you release make space for what was always meant for you. This is not the end. This is the first breath of the new reality.